Somebody emailed me a question recently, and they asked me, as somebody who grew up in the Bible Belt as a woman, what is the craziest conversation you have ever heard, in the Bible Belt in right-wing circles? And I guess, it took me a little while to think of a reply, but I guess the craziest conversation I've ever been privy to or part of was, I think, a conversation most conservative women have had to sit through and endure, and that is the men sitting around them and talking about how they think you shouldn't have the right to vote, they think you shouldn't have a right to education, they think you shouldn't have, the right to no-fault divorce. They just kind of debate whether or not you're fully human as well. They debate your intelligence and things like that, and you'll just be sitting there, and of course, if you're an outspoken woman, which they hope for because they love to crush joy, they will naturally, you'll speak out and you'll say, I'm not stupid, and my purpose isn't to breed, and they will just bully you ceaselessly. And there'll be women involved as well who have had the spirit crushed out of them beforehand, and they'll be angry that you're outspoken and young with your whole life ahead of you, and they'll just crush you. They'll crush you with cruelty and just outright bullying. Literally, it's bizarre, actually. It's adults acting like teenagers. And it's that's the most awkward conversation. And so as a woman, you're sitting there just completely creeped out because you thought these people were normal, and now they're discussing whether or not you should have the right to vote, whether unmarried women should have custody of their kids. They're just really weird. They're weird people. People on the right wing are fucking weirdos. And when you're in it and you've grown up in it and it's all you know, you just think the world is a horrible place. You just think, wow, men are evil, this is horrific, and you just hope that the rest of the world isn't like this. Unfortunately, most of it is, but the vast majority of the country is not. So that's kind of nice. But yeah, that's a normal experience. It's the most awkward conversation. Listening to boys you grow up with in school that you think like you talk about how you shouldn't be allowed to vote. When men vote liberal and men vote Democrat, it's never talked about, because they don't want to use men for their flesh, bone, and blood and create human beings from them. They want to do that to women. And it's the more liberal women vote, it feels I guess, from their perspective, there's not as much sexual access. But it's that is the weirdest conversation. Having men sit around and talk about how you should not have the same rights as them because you were born a woman. And it's super irritating, and so common where I'm from. It's so common to the point that most of the women I meet in religious communities, they do believe that men are evil to their core. They do, and they don't want to have any more children. They don't want to have sons. A lot of religious women I know are secretly having gender-selective abortions. Women in the Bible Belt, who are told, oh, well, Uncle Dave touches you because that's just how men are. Put on longer pants or whatever. Don't wear short shorts. They'll tell their daughters this kind of fucked up shit. And these girls will believe it, and they will just refuse to have sons. Because in the mind of a religious zealot, you're telling them to have a demon who gets to have dominion over you. It's kind of a fucked up thing. I'm not saying they consciously believe this, but a lot of women leaving the Christian faith, or a lot of women who still believe the Christian faith, really do believe and internalize this idea that men are just naturally horrible, and men naturally will try to subjugate women because their natural role is to be in charge, and that naturally means they're going to be terrible, and that naturally means they're going to discuss taking your rights away. And so as a religious zealot woman in your mind, right, you're well, I can't give birth to sons. That's my ops. Gotta go get a job. That's why most of the women you see in churches have a full-time job. only like the really stupid women or the women who trust their spouse and are extending an awful lot of trust to their spouse are the ones being stay-at-home mothers. Most women are on birth control in the South. In the Bible Belt, most women who claim to be Christian, they are on birth control, secretly or otherwise, and they are refusing to have any kids at all, or they will just cart off and get a quick abortion if it's a boy. They do not want to raise boys because they believe what they have been taught by Christians, which is that men are naturally evil. You know what I mean? It's fucked up, but that's the truth. That is the most fucked up conversation I have been privy to, is men discussing whether or not I'm fully human. You know, oh, you're really smart for a girl. Oh, you're really intelligent for a woman. You know, and you're like, what do you mean by that? Oh, well, most women are stupid. Are they? What do you mean by that? You know, and it's just a male supremacy sex cult. That's all it is. That's all evangelical Christianity is. And this has traumatized me so much that I don't want to ever go to church again, because I just know I'm going to run into these men again who think that their natural place is a hierarchy above women and children. And I fucking hate them. They disgust me. They piss me off. They've ruined my childhood and wrecked my whole fucking life. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, that is the most annoying, grating, and weird, just fucking weird conversation I've been privy to. And they talk about it all the time. You would be surprised. They talk about it all the time. And they talk about feminism and, like, they will acknowledge that women have jobs, that mothers have jobs, but they'll say well, that's just the modern world. It's like almost considered a failing that a mother has a job, but none of these women on the right wing will give up their jobs. You see Candace Owens, you see Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica, they're never giving up their jobs because they know as soon as they do, they're going to be lorded over and ruled over and probably kept fucking poor. You know, and it's this bizarre culture of male depravity. I don't know how to explain it. It's like from patriarchy. It's this idea that these men have, that they have a right to access to women. They have a right to own us like property, you know? And when a woman has like a job, or like whenever they talk about the female vote in church, they would almost talk about it like, oh, well, it's the modern day. We have to work within the modern system. But it was almost implied that this was a bad thing and that, oh, it's like dirty and it's wrong that these women have the right to vote, but we got to work within the system. And so they would urge their congregation to vote a certain way. And I think that's actually illegal, but whatever. It's just like the whole thing is just nasty and bizarre and weird. And it's full of these weird men that obsess over lower birth rates. Meanwhile, we have like how many homeless people, how many homeless kids, how many children in foster care, how many of those kids get eaten by the pedophile elites right now from foster care? Quite a bit, apparently. But these guys are worried about the white birth rates going low. You know, but they also can't buy a white mother a box of formula when she calls, you know. Can't buy her a box of baby formula and feed the baby once it's alive. No. It's kind of like just a nasty, like the Bible Belt is just a nasty place full of nasty people. And you would just be surprised how many men just don't think you're fucking human and traumatize so many women. Like, I'm never going into a church again. Ever. Because I had to debate with a bunch of grown men about my humanity. Like, nah, those people need to, like, be 6 feet under. That shit's fucking weird. But that's the weirdest conversation, is just debating whether or not I'm fully human to a bunch of moron fucks with a 6th grade reading level. That's the weirdest conversation I've ever had. I have a college reading level. I'm very smart, and I had to debate a bunch of like knuckle dragging retards about my rights, my humanity. It was insulting, and I considered burning the church down. It did cross my mind.